Good. Yo, we're going to talk about it. The number one, the absolute number one reason why eating clean food is a problem for you. Or we'll actually rephrase it. We'll say this. We'll say the number one problem with eating clean or too clean. All right. So we're going to break it down. We're going to talk a little bit about it. All right. Let me just flip the camera over here. Talk a little bit about it. Find out about what I'm talking about because it kind of fucking sounds confusing. I get it. But here I am. I'm going to explain it to you. So just give me a moment to explain that. But before we dive into it, I'm going to let you guys and girls know at the start of the live stream, of course, which is now that I do have a free 10-day challenge that will help you guys and girls, slim the belly if your belly's hanging over your waistline. All right, so it's 10 days from the 20th of September to the 30th of September. Registration ends in about 6 fucking days. So if you want in, DM me the emoji of a burger, and I got you. And then I'm going to sort of talk about what we're going to be offering in that free 10-day challenge. And honestly, what happens, what's going to go down, what you're going to be getting, what you're going to be learning, and all that stuff. All right. So if you're interested in trying to shed 2, 5, or 7 pounds in 10 days, hit your boy up. Hit me in the DMs with a burger emoji, and I got you. All right. The Burger Boy Challenge. Let's get it. All right. So let's talk about it. It's going to be short and sweet, to the fucking point today, because it sounds confusing. The title of this live stream, I won't lie, it sounds confusing. So I'm going to explain it to you guys and girls, and I'm going to explain it to y'all real quick. Okay? The reason why I'm saying that it's a problem for you to eat clean is not because it's actually bad to eat clean. I would fucking recommend everyone eat clean. In a perfect world, we'd all be eating clean, all right? In a perfect world, right? But the world ain't perfect, and we know that, right? So I'm not talking to the bodybuilders with this live stream. I'm not talking to the high caliber athletes with this live stream. I'm not talking literally to people like myself, right? And the reason why is because, well, let's face it, there is a need for them to do what they need to do when they need to do it, right? So they are not necessarily inclined to having to make it a little bit more comfortable for themselves, or to make things a little bit more sustainable when they're in the peak of their competitive strife, whenever they're getting ready for a competition, whenever they're getting ready for anything that's regarding something of the professional level, or something that a high caliber athlete would need to do. Brady, I see you. What's up, fam? 10K mama, you know what it is. Love. Right? So I'm not talking to the bodybuilders or the high caliber athletes with this live stream. I'm talking to the regular person that just wants to lose some goddamn fat, slim that belly, and feel a little bit better about themselves. Black Superman. Right? So this is what it is, guys and girls. I'm going to be bringing it to you, basically the number one problem with eating clean. All right, so the first thing I want to bring up is, unless you are a high caliber athlete, and when I say eating clean, guys and girls, I'm not talking about like just eating healthy. I'm talking about like measuring all of your macros and never missing a meal, and always having home cooked meals, and just like never eating pizza, burgers, barbecue, anything like that, right? Like I'm talking about strict, not even clean, strict. Like the reason why it's bad for you to eat strict is because, number one, it's not sustainable, right? There's a lack of diversity to a certain extent, guys and girls, right? Like you're only going to be able to choose from a handful of proteins: chicken, fish, beef, turkey. You know what I mean? You're only going to be able to choose from a select amount of carbs, specific types of rice, maybe not even bread, depending on how far along you are in your journey. If you're a high caliber athlete, Brady says she literally just finished meal prep. So I'm dissing you and I'm dissing myself with this one, but we're thugging it out together because I'm about 11 weeks, and I know you're close to your show too, and you're looking fucking ripped. I've been seeing the pictures. All right, so it's not sustainable for the average person that just wants to slim their belly. You don't have to be a robot machine unless you're aiming to perform at a really, really high caliber, at the level that a high caliber athlete that would need to perform at, right? So you don't need to put yourself in such constraints. You don't need to be so strict with your nutrition to the point where like you feel like if you skip it, you're gonna die because you just fucked up and the whole world's gonna crash down on you, right? So she's 5 weeks out. Let's go. It's peak week in a week, or in 4 weeks is peak week. So yeah, you're pretty much peaking the whole time now. The last 4 weeks is just suicide. We both know this. My heart goes out to you, Brady. Stay alive. Check it out. You got this, girl. All right, so it's not sustainable. Like it's just not sustainable for the average person to measure each and every single gram of rice, each and every single gram of chicken breast, of beef, of fish, whatever it is. Just not, and it's not necessary. So strict with yourself. And I've got clients that do it. And shoot, when I'm in my off season, I'm not even that strict. I'm only strict really when I'm really getting ready for a show, and like now, for example, getting ready for national nationals. I'm sharp as a knife when it comes to my meals, right? And my water too, my micronutrients as well. I don't fucking like even my vitamins. Like some people are skipping meals, and like then there's people that just don't even skip vitamins, supplements. I measure out my salt for every liter of water that I'm drinking. It's like to a science, right? Like, and that's not necessary unless you're a high caliber athlete, unless you're a bodybuilder, you're doing track, you're swimming. Unless you're a high caliber athlete, you should not be killing yourself over the smallest things when it comes to your nutrition, because that's just going to deter you mentally from actually being healthy, from losing the fat, burning the fat, slimming your gut. It's going to deter you, right? So you want it to be sustainable. You want to have more diversity so that you can actually stick to what you're doing. And I'm not saying don't eat clean food. I'm not saying just fill your fucking mouth with junk. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. And we're going to talk a little bit about what I'm talking about when I refer to this later on in the live stream. But I want you to understand that it's not only unreasonable, but it's also unsustainable for you, an average person, to be so militant with your nutrition that you don't allow yourself to enjoy the foods you actually love. All right, and that brings us to the second thing I want to talk about. The first thing was it's not sustainable to be a robot, okay? The second thing is the 80-20 rule. If you watch my live streams and you are sort of like up to speed with my nutrition, like we'll say not even habit, my nutrition trick that a lot of people use, you would understand what the 80-20 rule is. The 80-20 rule is something that I use for myself, something that I use for my best clients, and something that I'll actually recommend to you guys and girls, because the 80-20 rule refers to food, okay? And this is what I was saying when I was talking about, just a couple of seconds ago, not eating only junk food and not only eating clean food. The 80-20 rule refers to eating 80% clean and 20% whatever the fuck you want. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying that is because that is sustainable. You can expect yourself not to be 100% perfect. Like 100 and 0 would be 100% clean, 0% anything else, even though you like it. Like you'll be craving these foods, craving these foods, craving these foods. And then you'll hit a point where it's like, damn it, I'm going to give in. And then when you give in, you feel like crap. Right. And also you may be undoing any progress that you put yourself through that you're actually, getting simply because you overindulged and couldn't control your urges because you've been restraining yourself for so long. And it's only natural. We're human beings, right? So the 80-20 rule allows you to subside that urge, that craving, that extreme craving, we'll say, of always wanting to eat out or always wanting to eat pizza, always wanting to eat a burger, things of that sort. And instead of holding yourself away from it, you can incorporate it into your nutrition protocol. Of course, you're eating 80% clean foods that are home cooked, that are measured, and you're focusing on your macros and your calories with those 80%. And then the 20%, you are still focusing on how it works with your macros and calories. However, these are not meals that you're cooking. These are meals that you can go out to get at a restaurant. These are meals that you can go order on takeout. These are meals that you can order on Skip the Dishes, simply because you like them. And if you like them, then it's sustainable. And if it's sustainable, it fucking works, because you'll be able to stick to it for a lot longer period of a time, or I'll say lifelong. You'll have a better chance at sticking to it lifelong, which is your goal, because you want to be able to live a healthy lifestyle and not only lose the belly fat, but keep it off. Right? So guys and girls, the 80-20 rule is like absolutely hands down in my books and with my clients, the best skill when it comes to nutrition, simply because it allows you to be more regimented and eat clean than not. And of course, you still get to have, the foods that are junk that you can incorporate into your macros and still burn fat and build muscle at the same time without giving up the foods that you like, right? So it's important that you, apply the 80-20 rule in your own way. And of course, if you're having struggles or difficulties and you're like, what the fuck is even, like, what is this? Like, how do I even make sure I'm getting 80 and 20? What is this? Shoot me a message and I'll explain it to you. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is kind of relating to the 80-20 rule, but it's sort of how to actually apply it. So I'll give you like sort of like a warm up to it, right? So everybody is focusing on calories in and calories out. We know that if you want to lose weight, you got to be in a caloric deficit, which is less than the required amount of calories that your body would need to either maintain or grow, right? So less than the amount of calories that you need is specific to everybody. And knowing what those calories are is going to dictate where you go with your body. Either you're going to be gaining weight, maintaining your weight, or losing weight, right? Of course, in conjunction to physical activity and cardio and things of that sort. But one thing that I want you guys and girls to actually focus on just as much as, if not more than, calories is your macronutrients. So, what are macronutrients? For those of you guys and girls that are watching the replay that don't know, or that are watching the live stream, Gina, I appreciate you. Hit that replay. You know what's up. I appreciate you. Thanks, girl. So, what are macronutrients for those of you guys and girls that don't know? Macronutrients, three things. Keep it simple: protein, carbs, fat. You're going to get them from all the foods that you consume on a daily basis anyway. But the amount of protein, carbs, and fat that you get specifically each and every single day is going to determine your rate of progress when it comes to how much muscle you can build while burning fat. And I find that focusing on macronutrients mentally, for me and for some of my clients, is better because it feels like you're eating a lot more, even though you're eating just what's required in order for your body to stay in a caloric deficit, but you're giving yourself enough protein to build muscle while you're in a caloric deficit. So you're burning fat and building muscle at the same time. On top of that, because you're focusing on your carbohydrates, I already mentioned protein, focusing on your carbohydrates, you're making sure that you're not getting too much. You're not overspilling. Overspilling is essentially getting fat from eating carbohydrates, which you can't get. Carbohydrates convert into two things: glycogen or fat. So if you have, like, put it this way, it's like a gas tank. Okay, you fill up your gas tank with carbs, right? Whatever goes into that gas tank that'll be used as fuel is glycogen. Once that gas tank is full and you're still pumping it with carbs, gas in this metaphor, whatever spills out and runs down the side of the bumper or the fender is considered fat because it's overspill. It's not going to be used as fuel. It's not even in the tank, right? When I'm talking about in the tank, I'm talking about the muscle, right? So if you eat too many carbs and you're not as active, or if you just eat too many carbs in general, you run the risk of actually putting on fat. So being in control of your protein is going to help you maximize the amount of muscle you can grow. And muscle is more calorically expensive than fat. So the more muscle you have, the more you can utilize carbohydrates as glycogen as opposed to fat, which is also going to help you eat carbs and not get fat, give you energy in the gym to kill it, because glycogen is energy. And last but not least, not consuming too many fats, just being in regulation of that so that you keep your calories low and give yourself only what you need. So yes, calories in versus calories out is fucking important, but macros are just as, if not more important, because you could get the same amount of calories from two different nutrition programs, and one of them has like 30 grams of protein, 800 grams of carbs, and 100 grams of fat. That's just an example. Where the other one has a good amount of protein, like say if you're like building muscle, whatever, 180 grams of protein, 225 grams of carbs, and 45 grams of fat. They can be the same amount of calories, just an example. But because the other one has macronutrients that are catering towards your goal, you'll get better results even though you're abiding by the same amount of caloric restrictions. So macronutrients do fucking matter. Okay? People focus too much on calories in versus calories out because they work, and it does work. But if you aren't structured with your macronutrients, you won't be able to build muscle and burn fat at the same time. Okay? It's just going to be a lot harder to do, and it will be honestly a lot less sustainable because there's no structure there. Okay? You're going to be making up your calories randomly every day with random shit, as opposed to having a system that's proven to work, the 80-20 rule, which you just talked about earlier. And if you're just tuning in now, you can replay that, rewind it back, or you'll be watching it anyway. You'll pass by that part. So bring a pad and a pen out and write some notes there when you hit that point. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about to you guys and girls is this is more of like a mindset thing. This is more of like realistically what you'll actually find that you experience, and something that I've noticed that my clients experience, something that I even actually experience in my off season when I'm not competing, is not always eating clean food like every single time and like measuring all my rice, measuring all my chicken, like being able to eat a burger or some pizza or whatever the fuck I want to get, like what I want, like some junk food that I fucking want, because yeah, even me, I eat junk food, like if you didn't know that already, is it gets rid of that like perfectionist mentality. Like so what I'm saying is like, when you like, okay, you give yourself like no mercy, you're like, I've gotta do this, and if I skip a beat, if I mess up, I'm a fucking piece of shit, and like I don't deserve any results, and like then you're like, okay, you know what? I fucked up already. Let me fuck up the whole day, because what's the point? You know what I mean? Like I already messed up. I'm a fuck up. That perfectionist mentality will hold you back from making so much fucking progress. Like it'll actually make you. Those things can actually make you quit a journey, a fitness journey, right? So I want to make sure that you guys and girls know that not eating clean all the time caters towards you not being able to keep that perfectionist mindset in your head. Because the longer it's in your head, the less results you're actually going to make. And even if you do make results, the less time you're actually going to stick to living that lifestyle where things are actually sustainable. You want to be able to make sure that you can have like mercy on yourself. You want to be able to make sure that you're not going to knock yourself over the head or beat yourself the fuck up because you decided to have a pizza. Instead of like avoiding that, incorporate it into the 80-20 rule, 80% clean, 20% junk food or whatever, so that whenever you get those cravings, you don't actually have to overindulge, because you know how much pizza is going to fit into that nutrition requirement that's going to help you burn fat and build muscle at the same time without you feeling so shitty about eating pizza. Right? If you're eating clean all the time and you finally give into your craving of cookies or whatever the fuck it is, like shit, because you're eating clean for so long, you feel like I was perfect for so long and now I'm no longer perfect, so fuck all with it. I don't care. I'm done. That's going to make you quit. So to get rid of that perfectionist mindset, I encourage you to actually incorporate the 80-20 rule. They say, if you can't beat them, join them. If you can't live your life without burgers, pizza, cookies, junk food, or whatever, then live your life with it, because it's going to be more sustainable anyway. And you can still get results, crazy results, by doing it. And like myself, in the off season, I catch myself eating pizzas, burgers, barbecue, all that shit. Whatever I want, I'll eat, but I make sure that it fits into my macronutrient requirements, and that my macronutrient requirements are aligned with my caloric requirements. It's that simple, but it's also that difficult if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. All right. So I said I was going to keep it short and sweet. We're just over 15 minutes here. I'm going to scan through some comments on TikTok and Instagram, and then I'm going to dip out. And I appreciate each and every single one of you guys and girls for joining. Just to let you know real quick, I do have a 10-day challenge that is absolutely free that'll help you guys and girls lose 5 to 10 pounds within 10 days from the 20th of September. Send me a DM if you're actually pounds for free. I'm going to be teaching you how to do that online, of course, in the next 6 days for 10 days straight. Let me know. I got you absolutely for free, because I give a shit, and I really do appreciate you guys and girls showing up all the time and giving your support. So I want to give back. I just want to give back. All right. So let's look through this. Kyler says, any advice? I'm 19. I'm probably 105 and 5'6" and can't seem to gain weight, let alone get ripped. So if you can't gain weight, that sort of gives you the vibe that you're skinny. You're about 105 at 5'6". So you're not big at all, right? And you want to get ripped, right? So the thing is, I would focus on is keeping your protein high when it comes to your macronutrients, and giving yourself a good amount of carbs on a daily basis while training your fucking ass off, and staying with some cardio, maybe 15 to 20 minutes a day. Given you are 105, you don't need to do a lot of cardio. When you're growing with the amount of protein that you'll be taking, I'd recommend 150, 160 grams for you. Again, I haven't seen your physique, but I'll just throw that out there. I think it will help you grow some muscle, which will, of course, help you get ripped since you're coming from 105. And anything that you put on, if it's muscle, is already going to help you get closer to being ripped, right? Because you're really, really light. All right. So I hope that helps you out. Abid says, you're not eating enough. Start off by having full meals. Exactly. Essentially what I said there. I appreciate you adding that 2 cents in there. But yeah, I want to focus mainly on your protein intake and giving yourself at least 150, 200 grams of carbs, or at most, I'd say, just to keep you sort of lean as you grow. And then you'll see what I'm talking about with 15 to 20 minutes cardio a day after you train really hard and you stick with your nutrition. All right. Homie says, what about relish? Is relish good for you? I ate like 10 jars of relish today. That's funny. I'll take your question seriously. relish is like it's relish, man. It's a condiment, right? It has calories. Okay, it's got sugar, depending on whichever relish you're talking about. If you're talking about homemade relish, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, you can still have relish, burn fat, and build muscle at the same time if you incorporate it into your nutrition protocol. But I would say it's a condiment, and it's not even worth measuring. It's not even worth, like, yes, it is. It's calories, yeah, but you're not eating like relish straight out of the jar as if it were a meal. If you're just putting that on a hot dog, if you're just putting that on a burger, the burger alone, you can measure that into your caloric requirements and your macronutrient requirements. But the relish, as I said, you're not a bodybuilder. You're not a top caliber athlete, so you would not need to actually kill yourself by measuring the amount of ketchup you're putting in, amount of relish you're putting in, the amount of mustard you're putting in. As long as you're not overdoing it, and as long as you're being responsible and applying the 80-20 rule, you shouldn't even have to worry about it, right? So that's my two cents on that. That's my take on that. All right. I appreciate your questions. I'm gonna look through on Instagram real quick over here. All right, all right. So Jesse says, yeah, found having a little snack every now and then keeps me motivated. Exactly, right? And it's going to keep you motivated, and not only that, more disciplined because you get rid of that perfectionist mindset of, oh fuck, if I have a cookie, I'm fucked. If I do this, I suck. If I do that, I fell off, and what's the point? How to go have 10 pizzas? Like, it gets you away from that mindset. So the 80-20 rule is gold for me and my clients. I like the fact that you are, in your own way, implementing sustainability, Jassy. He says also, as long as for majority of the time I'm eating right, exactly, 80-20 rule. Majority clean, 80%, and sometimes you have whatever you want, right, 20%, okay? I see you people, I see you. Jassy says, if I go over my carb limit one day, should I eat less carbs the next day? I would recommend doing that, but it does also depend on if you're even carb cycling, because your carb requirements can be different based off of the day that you're training, or at least what muscle group that you're training on that day. So those variables, honestly, they're really, we'll say, person specific and goal specific. For me, for example, when I'm training on leg days, I'd have a lot more carbs than if I were to be training like chest or if I were to be training back, right? But the amount of carbs that I have on my back days are more than my chest days, right? So carb cycling, right? It's definitely a thing. But if you're talking about over your limit, as if, as in like you had a pizza and you shouldn't have had a pizza that day, and you should have had it on a day where you are supposed to have less carbs. You know what I mean? So it's subjective to you, man. It's subjective to you, right? But I appreciate that question. It's a good question. Bianca says, true. And what's up, girl? I see you there. True. Sometimes you have to allow yourself to bend a little bit. I would say all the time. Allow yourself to be flexible, right? If you're flexible with it, then you're not going to feel that pressure of being so rigid and being so robotic and strict. And, getting rid of that pressure is what's going to keep you in that healthy mindset, in that healthy lifestyle for as long as possible, and possibly even lifelong, right? You want to make this a lifestyle, not just a diet, all right? So, Noel, I see you. Bianca says, allow yourself to eat some of the things that you crave in order to control those cravings and still feel good about yourself. Exactly. Getting rid of the perfectionist mindset. I love that you said that. She also says, it's actually been proven that incorporating some unclean foods into your plans every once in a while helps you lose weight. As long as you're eating healthy most of the time and abiding by your macronutrients and your calories or caloric requirements, there's no issue at all, which is why I can eat pizza and still be ripped to shit. I can eat burgers and still have my muscle growing. If you can fit it into your protocol, there's absolutely no issues. It's not like burgers have some magic ingredient in it that makes you get fat. Like, no, they're composed of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. Protein is the bun, or protein is the patty. Carbohydrates is the bun, and the fats come from the patty and all the other things, even the buns and the condiments and all that, like all that stuff. All of it together combined is what's going to give you the overall caloric number that's going to be adding to your total. That's going to be either making sure that you stay under the limit that you have for yourself, staying in a caloric deficit, or over the limit. You have 5 burgers, right? So take that into consideration. Be in control. 80% clean, 20% free food. Call it free food, call it junk food, whatever you want to call it. She also says, Bianca says, it's only when you start to eat junk food in great quantities, that's where you have a problem. It's all about moderation. No, absolutely. You literally just said what I said. 100%. We're on the same page here, girl. My day's going sick. I had a pretty sick back shoulder trap day. got a nasty pump, hit posing. That drained me, and I still got an hour of cardio to do left. Yeah, and yeah, just getting ready for this show with something else. How's your day going? Also, homie says, "Yo, how fast can you run?" I haven't measured that honestly. I don't know. I haven't like timed myself since high school. I'm not a runner, man. I'm a bodybuilder. It's different, but I appreciate your question. You know what I'm saying? So that brings us to the end of the live stream. Real quick, just 25 minutes. If you want to actually catch the replay of the live stream and you came in a little bit late, I'll be posting the replay on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Matt Butale, M-A-T-T space B-U-T-A-L-E. To actually get these live notification updates, or you can just follow me on Instagram as well to get those live notification updates. So you can join and actually talk to me when I'm live and ask questions that you've always wanted to ask and always wanted answered by me live. All right. She says, not bad. Another tornado warning in another part of Canada again. Yeah, you know what? Stay safe, stay indoors, enjoy yourself, clean up the crib, and just movie night. I guess if you ain't busy, do a movie night. All right. Homie says, blah blah blah. 248 says, should you adjust your macros for days you're doing extra physical activity? Absolutely. I would recommend doing that strongly. Mainly to manipulate your carbohydrates, because carbohydrates is what's going to give you your energy when it comes to training on days that you're going to be pushing a heavier load, like leg days, so on and so forth. I do it myself. I recommend you do it as well. All right, that's a great question. Bianca says, other than that, I'm great. I'm still working though. That book on Celtic myths, and there you go. So that's what you're doing today. Hibernate, camp up, and focus on that book. All right. That brings us to the end of the live stream, guys and girls. Again, if you want to lose 5 to 10 pounds in 10 days, hit your boy up. I have a free challenge coming up. It's starting on the 10th of September, and it's done. Starting in 6 days on the 20th of September, lasts 10 days, and it'll be done on the 30th of September. So if you want if you want information, if you want to know how I can actually help you lose 5 to 10 pounds within 10 days in my free challenge, which I'll be teaching you, essentially coaching you, shoot me a message. All right. You know what it is. Peace and love. Until tomorrow with another live stream, I'll be back. All right. So stay safe, eat good, 80-20. Don't forget, guys and girls. Later, Insta. Later, TikTok. We out, Facebook. See you. Okay. Later, YouTube.